Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Barcelona are through to the semifinals of the Champions League for the first time since the 2018-19 season, and unfortunately, we have lost 3-1 today. Obviously, it doesn't matter in the end. They all count the same. We still are in the semifinals. But man, was that an absolutely just horrible, horrible match to watch. I really don't even know where to begin. If we begin with the first half, it was just really, really bad from Barcelona. It felt like the team didn't know how to play football. Obviously, we had some changes. Araujo, Gerard Martin having to replace Balde, who's injured. Uh, who else? Pedri, not playing, in the match today. Obviously, we have to make those rotations because we had such a big lead in the first game, 4-0 we had. And we had to make changes because it is such a long season. We still have very important games other than this. But man, it was so bad. Just Dortmund immediately, even in the first 5-10 minutes, you could tell how the game was going to go. They were piling on insane pressure onto us, having chance after chance. It started really badly. Koundé left a player on side. Adeyemi had the ball passed, made a good through pass. Koundé left a player on side. Szczesny comes to make a dive and doesn't time it correctly, gives away a penalty. And Guirassy today had a hat trick because of just comical errors, just really bad stuff from Barcelona. And that first half was bad. That second half was somehow even worse. I mean, Pedri came on later on, don't get me wrong. And I was saying that the whole game that, and even in general this season, this team really struggles without him. They really struggle to control the tempo. Even in the first game, you could see that when Pedri came off against Dortmund, those last 10 minutes, they had the same amount, if not more, chances they had in the first 80 minutes in that first game. And even in this game, it was the same thing. He came on, after that first half, after how bad it was, us having zero shots on target. We had a few counters, but nothing came of them. Everyone was tripping over the ball, bad touches, bad, just everything, man. And you could see when he came on, like, yeah, it definitely did help us, a bit. Things slowed down, things calmed down, but even still, like, the performance we were having, just, for Dortmund to come like that. The second goal Guirassy got, they got a corner. He gets a header back, kind of similar to the first goal Lewandowski scored against Dortmund, where Rafinha headed it to him. But in this case, it was a Dortmund player heading it to Guirassy. Easy header right in front of the goal despite all the players in the box. And then after that, oh my god, what a terrible sequence this was. Araujo, despite some good, tackles and stuff here, man, you can tell that he does not deserve to start over in the Eagle. And he really, like, frustrated me today. He frustrates me a lot, but today especially, just the same thing, like, Martin doesn't really get a good touch on the ball, or, he lets the ball go out for a throw in. Dortmund get it, they cross it inside. Araujo makes a fucking terrible clearance, like, makes a horrible clearance, basically passing in field Guirassy, who blasted, and it was 3-1. And it really did startle me, like, kind of make me scared and anxious because we've been here before. The bad PTSD we have, from previous defeats in Champions League where we completely collapsed. And it felt like that was going to happen today, despite the fact that, we have 5-goal lead that we should not be balling. And we didn't, thankfully. But it felt like that was going to happen today again. And, Szczesny, in my opinion, man of the match. He really made it so that, this game didn't end God knows how many goals, like how badly it would have been, if he wasn't there. Despite him conceding the penalty, which honestly, I mean, what can you do? A player, Koundé leaves a player on side. He has to make a dive. He can't just sit there. But yeah, man, the match for saving us. I generally think if Ter Stegen or Pena was in goal, we're screwed. We're getting knocked out in Champions League in a more humiliating fashion than the past few humiliations we already had. But man, just I guess there was some good defending. I'll give it that. To the fact that we didn't complete ball of it. Like, there is a lot of teams that have games like this. Don't get me wrong, that if either, gone far or have won the Champions League, you have such a big lead, then you go to a game and you're just playing terrible. I mean, if you even just look at the PSG and Austin Villa match that just happened, they Villa ended up winning that game 3-2. They didn't go through, obviously, 4-5 on aggregate, and they were really unfortunate. I'm not gonna lie, that last chance they had, one of the last chances they had, where a really good volley, where if the defender is not there, I'm telling you right now, it's 5-5, and Donnarumma having a good performance. Same thing as Chelsea, goalkeeper being a big difference. It's kind of the same thing there, where they lost, they completely collapsed. at a certain point, despite having a lead and scoring 2 goals, it was really nervy, couldn't control the ball, but they ended up going through still. So I know not every game is going to be perfect. I know games like this are going to happen, but it's still very frustrating, and I really hope that that's the only game we have like this where that doesn't happen again. You know, I think the team will be okay. Definitely, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a case of fatigue, or just because they were at the stadium. In Dortmund, the Signal Iduna Park, such a hard stadium to go through. The fans are so passionate, and on Champions League nights, it's very, very difficult. I'm still furious though a little bit. I am happy though we've made the semifinals, but man, just really, really tough match for Barcelona. Not great, and I hope, like I said, that doesn't happen again. I will say Gerard Martin. I don't even know what that performance was. Some stuff was good, some stuff was absolutely terrible. You could see we missed Balde a lot, and I hope that that one player Torrance is able to get a chance. Hopefully he can be really good. In the time that Balde is absent, because we have such a big final in the Copa del Rey that we have to play, and man, yeah, really poor performance from Barcelona today. But at the end of the day, it happens. And I'm really happy that we're through to the semifinals of the Champions League after how tough it's been for us in the past several years, even decade. So great stuff. Not the game, but great stuff that we're through. And let me know what you guys thought about the game, and I'll see you guys in the next one.